Welcome back to the Top Liberty Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and misunderstood coins in history, the 1965 quarter dollar, a coin that looks ordinary in your pocket but can secretly be worth hundreds, thousands, even life-changing money if you know what to look for. And right now the market is more active than ever. Collectors are hunting, investors are searching, and hidden treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. Imagine holding a simple 25-cent coin, something people ignore every day, but that same coin could be worth far more than its face value, sometimes just a few cents, sometimes a few dollars, and in rare cases thousands of dollars. And that is exactly the story of the 1965 quarter, a coin born in a time of crisis. A time when silver prices were rising fast and the government had to make a decision that would change coin history forever. Before 1965, every quarter was made of real silver, about 90% silver, which meant the coin itself had real metal value. But as silver prices increased, people started hoarding coins, removing them from circulation because the silver inside was worth more than the coin's face value, and this created a shortage of coins across the country. So in 1965, everything changed. The United States introduced a new type of quarter made from copper and nickel, called clad coins, no longer containing silver, lighter in weight and cheaper to produce, and this marked the beginning of modern coinage, a major turning point in history. The 1965 quarter became the first of this new era. Billions were produced, over 1.8 billion coins, making it extremely common, and because of that, most 1965 quarters today are only worth their face value or slightly more, sometimes around 25 cents to 85 cents depending on condition. But here is where things get exciting. Not all 1965 quarters are the same, and this is where collectors pay serious attention, because during the transition from silver to clad, something unusual happened inside the mint. A small number of coins were accidentally struck on leftover silver blanks, and these rare error coins are among the most valuable treasures in modern coin collecting. These rare silver 1965 quarters can be worth thousands of dollars, some selling for over $7,000, $10,000, even more depending on condition and grading, and in top condition, some examples have reached values above $16,000. Now imagine this, a coin that looks exactly like any other 1965 quarter, but hidden inside is real silver. This is why people search their change. This is why collectors never ignore old coins, because one small detail can turn a common coin into a fortune. So how do you know if your 1965 quarter is special? First, look at the edge of the coin. A normal clad coin will show a copper-colored stripe, but a rare silver version will appear completely silver with no copper line. Second, check the weight. A normal 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs around 6.25 grams. This small difference can mean a huge change in value, and it doesn't stop there. Even regular clad 1965 quarters can have value if they are in perfect mint condition. Coins graded at high levels can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Especially rare high-grade examples that collectors compete for there are also error coins, such as double strikes, off-center designs, and wrong planchet errors. These can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on rarity, making every 1965 quarter worth a closer look. Today's market is very active. Coin collectors, investors, and even beginners are entering the market, searching for hidden gems. And while most 1965 quarters are common, the possibility of finding a rare one keeps the excitement alive, because history has shown that valuable coins can still be found in circulation, in old jars, in collections, and even in everyday pocket change. The truth is simple but powerful: not every coin is valuable, but every coin has potential, and the 1965 quarter is a perfect example of this mystery, a coin that represents a major historical shift, a coin that marked the end of silver in everyday currency, and a coin that still holds secrets waiting to be discovered. Some people dream of finding gold, some dream of finding treasure, but coin collectors know that sometimes treasure is already in your hands, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone who understands its true value. So next time you see a quarter, don't ignore it. Check the date, check the edge, check the weight, because that small piece of metal could be worth far more than you think. And who knows, you might be holding a rare 1965 quarter that could change everything. Stay connected with Coins, where we reveal hidden treasures, real values, and powerful stories from the world of money, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Today might completely change your perspective. Because hidden in plain sight, among everyday pocket change, there are coins that quietly carry history, mystery, and sometimes astonishing value. And one of those coins that has sparked curiosity among collectors is the 1972 quarter dollar. Imagine this. You're going through old coins at home, maybe from a jar, a drawer, or something passed down from family. Among them, a simple 25-cent coin dated 1972. At first glance, it looks completely normal. The familiar portrait of George Washington on the front, the word Liberty above, the date below. On the back, the classic eagle design. Nothing unusual, right? But what if that ordinary-looking coin could actually be worth far more than 25 cents? The 1972 Washington quarter belongs to a long-running series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. These coins were minted in massive numbers, primarily in Philadelphia and Denver. Because of this, most 1,972 quarters you find today are still only worth face value. But here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal, even if they look the same at first glance. Collectors don't just look at the year. They look at tiny details. Mint marks. Condition. Errors. And sometimes, those small differences can turn an ordinary coin into something incredibly valuable. Now let's talk about condition. This is one of the biggest factors in determining value. A heavily worn 1972 quarter that has been in circulation for decades will usually only be worth its face value. But a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, can be worth significantly more. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially those with strong luster and no visible marks, can sell for many times their original value, but condition alone isn't what makes headlines. The real excitement comes from errors and rare varieties. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen. These errors are not supposed to exist, which is exactly why collectors love them. For the 1972 quarter, certain error coins have been discovered over time. These can include off-center strikes, double strikes, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a quarter design stamped onto a metal blank meant for a different coin. That kind of mistake can make a coin extremely rare. There are also double die varieties, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These are often subtle and require careful inspection, but when found, they can significantly increase a coin's value. Now here's where things become even more fascinating. The market for coins is always changing. Prices are influenced by demand, rarity, and the condition of the coin. While most 1972 quarters are common, certain high-grade examples or error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You might have seen big numbers online, like claims of coins being worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. It's important to understand that those values are extremely rare and usually tied to unique circumstances, such as one-of-a-kind errors or historically significant pieces. A typical 1972 quarter will not be worth anywhere near hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, the possibility that a rare version could exist is what keeps collectors searching. Think about that for a moment. A coin that most people would spend without a second thought could, under the right conditions, be worth a small fortune. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt that anyone can take part in. Another factor to consider is silver content. While the 1972 quarter itself is not made of silver, earlier quarters before 1965 contained 90% silver. This is why many collectors also search through older coins, hoping to find silver pieces that are automatically worth more due to their metal content. But even without silver, the 1972 quarter still holds value in the world of numismatics. Its connection to American history, its place in a long-running coin series, and the possibility of rare errors make it a coin worth examining closely. If you want to check your own coins, start with the basics. Look at the date and mint mark. Check the condition. Does the coin still have its original shine? Are there any unusual features, like doubling or misalignment? Even small details can make a big difference. Using a magnifying glass or a coin loop can help you spot features that are not visible to the naked eye. And if you think you found something special, it might be worth having the coin professionally graded by a reputable service. This can confirm its authenticity and condition, which is crucial if you ever decide to sell it. The coin market today is more accessible than ever. Online auctions, collector forums, and marketplaces have made it easier for buyers and sellers to connect. This means that if you do find a valuable coin, there are many ways to determine its current market value and potentially sell it, but beyond the money, there's something deeper about collecting coins. Each coin tells a story. It has passed through countless hands, witnessed moments in history, and traveled across time. The 1972 quarter is no exception. It represents a specific era, a snapshot of the world at that time. So the next time you come across a quarter, don't just see it as spare change. Take a closer look. You might discover something unexpected, and if you enjoy uncovering hidden value, exploring rare coins, and learning the stories behind everyday objects, make sure to stay connected with this channel, Coins. Because you never know what treasure might be hiding right in your pocket. Today you are about to discover something fascinating about a simple coin that might be sitting quietly in your pocket right now without you even realizing its true potential. Take a close look at the $quarter in your hand. It may look ordinary. It may feel like just another piece of change. But what if I told you that some of these coins, especially from the year 1977, can hold surprising value, mystery, and a story that stretches deep into American history? The 1977 $quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, a coin that has been circulating since 1932. This coin was originally created to honor George Washington, one of the most important figures in American history. Designed with precision and pride, the front of the coin shows the powerful profile of Washington with the word Liberty proudly placed above his head, a symbol that has remained strong for generations. Now here is where things start to get interesting. The 1977 quarter was produced in large numbers, which means most of them are still only worth their face value. But not all coins are created equal. Some 1977 quarters carry hidden features, rare minting errors, or exceptional condition that can make them worth far more than 25 cents. Collectors around the world are constantly searching for these rare pieces. The value of a coin depends on several key factors. Condition is one of the most important. A coin that looks almost brand new, with sharp details and no scratches, can be worth many times more than a worn-out one. These are called uncirculated coins, and they are highly desirable. Another important factor is mint mark. On a 1977 quarter, you may find a small letter on the coin that tells you where it was made. Coins without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia. Those with AD were minted in Denver. And coins with an S were produced in San Francisco, often as proof coins made specifically for collectors. Proof coins are especially important. These coins are struck with extra care, giving them a mirror-like finish and sharp details. A 1977 proof quarter in perfect condition can sell for much higher prices than a regular circulated coin, but the real excitement begins when we talk about errors. Mint errors are like accidents that happen during the creation of the coin, and these accidents can make a coin extremely valuable. Imagine a coin where the design is slightly off-center, or where the metal was not properly struck, or even where two designs overlap slightly. These unusual features make each coin unique, and collectors are willing to pay high prices for them. Some rare 1977 quarters with errors have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare and visible the error is. Now you might be wondering about the number you saw earlier, a huge value like $787,976.46. That kind of price is extremely rare and would only apply to a coin with extraordinary uniqueness, possibly a one-of-a-kind mint error combined with perfect condition and historical significance. These are the types of coins that appear in auctions and attract global attention from serious collectors. So how can you tell if your 1977 quarter is valuable? Start by examining the coin closely. Look at the details of Washington's face. Check the edges. Look for any unusual marks or misprints. Find the mint mark and identify where it was made. Then consider the condition. Does it look shiny and untouched, or worn and used? If you believe your coin might be special, it is always a good idea to have it checked by a professional coin grading service. These experts can confirm its authenticity, condition, and value. The beauty of coin collecting is that it turns everyday objects into pieces of history. Each coin has passed through countless hands, traveled across cities, and witnessed moments in time. And sometimes, hidden among millions of ordinary coins, there are rare treasures waiting to be discovered. So the next time you receive a quarter in change, don't just spend it without a second thought. Take a moment. Look closely. Because that small coin could carry a story, a secret, and maybe even a value far greater than you ever imagined. This is Coins, where every coin has a story, and every story could be worth a fortune. Stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, your next discovery might change everything. Today you are about to discover something fascinating about a coin that millions of people have held in their hands without ever realizing its true story. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple $quarter coin, something so ordinary, so common, yet possibly holding a story that stretches across decades of American history and, in rare cases, even connects to serious money. Today we are talking about the 1986 Washington quarter, a coin that at first glance looks like just another piece of change, but when you look closer, the details, the history, and the market value begin to reveal a completely different picture. The year 1986 was a significant time in the United States. The economy was growing, technology was evolving, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of quarters for everyday circulation. These coins carried the familiar portrait of George Washington on the front, a design that has been part of American coinage since 1932. Above his head, you see the word liberty, a symbol of freedom that has remained unchanged through generations. Below, the date 1986, marking the exact moment this coin entered history. Now here is something many people do not notice. The small letter P on the coin, located near Washington's ponytail, stands for Philadelphia Mint. Before 1980, Philadelphia coins did not even carry a mint mark, so this small letter is actually a relatively modern addition. It might seem like a tiny detail, but in the world of coin collecting, small details can mean everything. Millions of these 1986 quarters were produced, over 500 million in fact. Because of this high mintage, most of these coins are not rare in circulated condition. If you find one in your pocket today, it is usually worth exactly 25 cents. But here is where things start to get interesting. Condition is everything. A coin that has been used in everyday transactions gets scratches, wear, and dullness over time. But a coin that was never used, one that remained in mint condition, can be worth significantly more. Collectors call this uncirculated condition, and the grading scale goes from low quality all the way up to perfect mint state. Now imagine a 1986 quarter that has never been touched by circulation. Its surface is clean, the details are sharp, the shine is still intact. These coins can sell for several dollars, sometimes even more depending on the exact grade. But that is just the beginning. There are rare cases where coins have been preserved in near-perfect condition, graded MS-67 or even higher by professional grading services. These are extremely difficult to find because even the smallest imperfection can lower the grade. In these top conditions, a 1986 quarter can sell for hundreds of dollars, and then we enter the world of errors. Mint errors are one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting. These are mistakes that happen during the production process. Maybe the coin was struck slightly off-center, maybe there was a double strike, or perhaps a die crack created unusual patterns on the surface. These errors are rare, and collectors are willing to pay serious money for them. A 1986 quarter with a strong mint error can be worth far more than its face value. Depending on the type and visibility of the error, prices can range from tens to hundreds, and in some exceptional cases, even more. Now let's talk about the number that caught your attention. A value like $787.97645 sounds incredibly specific and unusually high for a quarter. Here is the truth. While standard 1986 quarters do not reach that exact value in normal conditions, rare combinations of perfect grading, unique errors, and strong collector demand can push prices into very high ranges. Auction results sometimes surprise everyone, especially when two collectors compete for a rare piece. This is why coin collecting is not just a hobby. It is a treasure hunt. Every coin tells a story. The 1986 P quarter represents a time when America was moving forward, when millions of these coins were being produced for daily use, yet hidden among them could be rare gems that collectors search for even today. Take a closer look at the design. The front shows Washington with calm authority, a symbol of leadership and history. The word liberty above him connects the coin to the core values of the nation. On the back, you see the eagle with outstretched wings, powerful and bold, holding arrows and an olive branch, representing both strength and peace. These details are not just decoration. They are part of a legacy that makes even the simplest coin meaningful. If you are serious about finding valuable quarters, you need to start paying attention to a few key things. Look at the mint mark. Check the condition. Search for unusual features like doubling or off-center strikes. And most importantly, do not ignore coins just because they look common. Sometimes the most ordinary coin can become extraordinary under the right conditions. Collectors all around the world are constantly searching through rolls of coins, bank bags, and old collections hoping to find that one hidden treasure. And yes, the 1986 P quarter is one of those coins that can surprise you if you know what to look for. So next time you receive change, do not just spend it without thinking. Take a moment. Look closely. That small piece of metal in your hand might have more value than you ever imagined. This is the beauty of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into discoveries. It transforms history into something you can hold. And sometimes, just sometimes, it rewards you with something truly valuable. Stay tuned to coins, because there are many more secrets hidden in your pocket change, and the next one might be even more surprising than this. Today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet surprisingly fascinating coins in American history, the 1987 P Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another 25-cent coin. But what if I told you that some of these coins could be worth far more than you ever imagined? Stay with me, because this story goes beyond simple pocket change and into the world of hidden value, rare errors, and collector secrets. Let's begin by understanding what makes the 1987 P quarter special. The P mint mark stands for Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most important minting locations in the United States. Before 1980, Philadelphia coins didn't even carry a mint mark, so by 1987, having that P stamped on the coin had already become part of a modern collecting system. But here's where things get interesting. 1987 was not a typical year for quarters. In 1987, the United States Mint made a unique decision. Quarters were not released into general circulation the same way they were in other years. Instead, most of the 1987 quarters were only available through official mint sets sold directly to collectors. This means that finding a 1987 P quarter in everyday circulation is much less common compared to other years. And when something is less common, collectors start paying attention. Now imagine this: millions of people have handled coins their entire lives without ever realizing that one specific year like 1987 could hold extra value. The rarity is not just about low mintage numbers, but about limited distribution. Because these coins were not widely circulated, high-quality examples are more desirable today. Let's talk about condition, because condition is everything in the coin world. A worn-out 1987 P quarter that has been scratched, faded, and used for decades may still only be worth 25 cents. But a coin in mint state condition, meaning it looks almost brand new, with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible wear, can be worth significantly more. Collectors use grading systems to determine value, and the higher the grade, the higher the price. Now here's where the excitement really builds. Some 1987 P quarters have been discovered with mint errors. These errors can include off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, or even planchet issues. When a coin has a rare error, its value can skyrocket. Collectors love imperfections when they are unique and rare, because they tell a story about what went wrong during the minting process. There have been cases where error quarters from this era have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. And while not every 1987 P quarter will make you rich, the possibility alone is enough to make people start checking their change more carefully. Let's also explore the design itself. The 1987 P quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the front, originally designed by John Flanagan. The word Liberty appears boldly at the top, with "In God We Trust" to the left and the year 1987 at the bottom. On the reverse side, you'll see the classic eagle design with outstretched wings, holding arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. This design remained in use for decades before the introduction of the State Quarters program in 1999. That means the 1987 quarter represents one of the final years of the traditional Washington quarter design era before major changes reshaped modern coin collecting. Now let's address the big question everyone is wondering: can a 1987 P quarter really be worth a huge amount, like hundreds of thousands or even millions? The honest answer is that such extreme values are incredibly rare and usually tied to unique, one-of-a-kind mint errors or historical significance. Claims of values like $787,976.44 are often exaggerated or misunderstood. However, that doesn't mean valuable coins don't exist. It simply means you need to know what to look for. A high-grade 1987 P quarter certified by a professional grading service can sell for anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s. If it has a rare error, that value can increase dramatically. The key is knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. So how do you check if your coin is valuable? Start by examining the mint mark. Look for the P on the front of the coin. Then inspect the coin under good lighting. Check for unusual features like doubling in the letters, misalignment, or anything that looks different from a normal coin. If you suspect something special, consider having it evaluated by a professional. Another important factor is preservation. If you think you have a valuable coin, do not clean it. Cleaning can actually reduce its value because collectors prefer coins in their original state, even if they have some natural toning or aging. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Coins that seem ordinary can turn out to be extraordinary. The 1987 P quarter is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and condition come together to create value, and this is why channels like Coins exist, to help you discover hidden treasures that might already be in your pocket, your drawer, or your old coin jar at home. So next time you come across a quarter, don't just spend it without a second thought. Take a closer look. Because you never know, that small piece of metal could be worth far more than 25 cents. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1987 P quarter, stay tuned for more incredible coin stories, rare finds, and hidden values that most people overlook. The world of coins is bigger than you think, and your next discovery could be just one coin away. Today we're diving deep into a coin that millions of people have seen, spent, and ignored, yet some versions of it can quietly carry surprising value. We're talking about the 1989 D Washington quarter, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but has layers of history, rarity, and market interest that most people never notice. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand. Just 25 cents, right? That's what most people think. But collectors and coin experts see something completely different. They see mint marks, condition grades, strike quality, and tiny details that can turn that everyday coin into something worth far more than face value. And the 1989 D quarter is a perfect example of this hidden world. Let's step back for a moment. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to honor George Washington. Over decades, it became one of the most recognized coins in the United States. By 1989, the design had already been circulating for generations. The obverse shows Washington's portrait with the word Liberty at the top, and the reverse features the iconic eagle design used before the State Quarters era began. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1989 D quarter was minted in Denver, which is what the D stands for. Millions were produced, over 500 million coins. That sounds like a huge number, and it is. But in coin collecting, quantity alone doesn't tell the full story. What matters is condition, quality, and errors. Most 1989 D quarters you'll find in circulation are heavily worn. They've been used in vending machines, passed through countless hands, and lost their original shine. These coins are typically worth only face value. But when you find one in exceptional condition, everything changes. Collectors use grading systems to evaluate coins. A coin in average condition might be graded as very fine or extremely fine. But when you reach mint state levels, especially MS65, MS66, or higher, the value can increase dramatically. A pristine 1989 D quarter with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible wear can be worth several dollars, sometimes even more depending on demand, but that's just the beginning. The real excitement comes from rare variations and mint errors. These are mistakes made during the coin production process, and they are highly sought after. For example, a double die error, where parts of the design appear duplicated, can turn a normal coin into a collector's prize. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual surface textures can also increase value significantly. Some collectors have reported high-grade or error 1989 D quarters selling for surprisingly high prices at auctions. While claims of extremely high values like hundreds of thousands of dollars are often exaggerated or misunderstood, there are verified cases where rare coins from this era have sold for hundreds or even thousands depending on condition and uniqueness. So what should you look for? First, check the mint mark. Look just to the right of Washington's ponytail. If you see a D, you've got a Denver Mint coin. Next, examine the condition. Is the coin shiny? Are the details on Washington's hair and the eagle sharp? Are there scratches or wear? The fewer marks, the better. Then, look closely for errors. Use a magnifying glass if possible. Check the lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust. Look at the date. Any doubling, misalignment, or unusual features could mean something special. Another key factor is luster, the way light reflects off the coin. Original mint luster is highly valued and can make a big difference in price. Now let's talk about the current market. In today's coin market, most 1989 D quarters are still worth 25 cents. But uncirculated examples can range from a few dollars to over $20 depending on grade. High-grade certified coins, especially those graded MS67 or higher, can reach much higher values because they are extremely rare in such perfect condition. The coin market is constantly changing. Prices depend on collector demand, auction results, and overall interest in modern coins. Over the past few years, there has been growing attention on coins from the 1980s and 1990s, especially those in top condition. This has pushed prices upward for certain pieces, and here's something many people don't realize: coins like the 1989 D quarter are still out there. They could be in your pocket change, your old piggy bank, or a jar sitting on a shelf. Most people never check. That's why collectors always say, look before you spend. There's also a psychological aspect to coin collecting. The idea that something so common could be valuable creates excitement. It turns everyday objects into treasure hunts. That's what keeps people searching, learning, and collecting. Now think about this. Millions of these coins were made, but only a tiny fraction remain in near-perfect condition today. Time, usage, and damage have reduced the number of high-quality examples. That's why collectors are willing to pay more for the best ones. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, you need patience and attention to detail. Learn how to identify grades. Study known errors. Compare your coins with verified examples. And most importantly, don't ignore the small details, because in coin collecting, small details can mean big money. Another important tip is storage. If you find a coin that looks promising, don't just toss it back into circulation. Store it properly. Use coin holders or protective cases. Avoid touching the surface too much, as oils from your fingers can reduce its quality, and if you believe you have something special, consider getting it professionally graded. Certified coins often sell for higher prices because buyers trust the grading. Let's bring it all together. The 1989 D Washington quarter is a reminder that value isn't always obvious. What looks like a simple coin can carry history, rarity, and potential worth beyond its face value. While most will remain ordinary, a few stand out, and those are the ones collectors dream about. So next time you get a quarter, don't just spend it. Take a closer look. Check the date. Find the mint mark. Study the details. Because you never know, that small piece of metal could be more valuable than you think. Today we're diving deep into a coin that many people have seen, many have spent without a second thought, but very few truly understand, the 1993 D quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin. The familiar profile of George Washington on the front, the word Liberty boldly above, the date 1993 below. Flip it over and you see the classic eagle design, wings spread wide, holding arrows and an olive branch. Nothing unusual, right? But this is where things start to get interesting. The D mint mark on this coin tells us it was struck in Denver. Millions of these coins were produced, flooding into circulation across the United States. Because of that, most people assume they are common and not worth more than 25 cents. And in many cases, that assumption is true. But not always. Coins are not just about how many were made. They are about condition, rarity, errors, and demand. And this is where the 1993 D quarter begins to reveal its hidden story. Let's talk about condition first. A coin that has been heavily used, scratched, worn down, and passed from hand to hand for decades will usually remain at face value. But a coin that has been preserved, one that still shines, with sharp details and no visible wear, that's where collectors start paying attention. Now imagine a 1993 D quarter in near-perfect condition. The kind of coin that looks almost like it just left the mint. These coins are graded by professionals using a scale, and the highest grades can push values far beyond what you would expect. Suddenly, that 25-cent coin could be worth several dollars, even tens or hundreds depending on its grade, but condition alone is not the only factor. Errors are where things get really exciting. During the minting process, small mistakes can happen. A slight misalignment, a double strike, a die crack, or even missing details. These errors are not supposed to exist, which is exactly why collectors love them. A 1993 D quarter with a noticeable mint error can jump in value dramatically. What was once pocket change becomes a collector's treasure. Some error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare and visible the mistake is, and then there's the idea that sparks curiosity in everyone. Could a coin like this be worth a life-changing amount of money? You may have seen numbers like $787,976.42 floating around online. That kind of value sounds unbelievable, and honestly, in most cases, it is. A standard 1993 D quarter will not reach anywhere near that amount. But the reason such numbers exist is because of extreme cases in the coin world. Rare coins with unique histories, perfect condition, or one-of-a-kind errors have sold for astonishing prices at auctions. These are not typical coins. They are exceptions that prove how powerful rarity can be. So while your average 1993 D quarter is not going to make you a millionaire, the possibility, however small, is what keeps collectors searching. There is also historical value to consider. The Washington quarter design has been around since 1932, originally created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over time, it became one of the most recognizable coins in the world. The 1993 D quarter is part of that long legacy, representing a specific moment in time before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999. That means it belongs to the classic era of modern U.S. coinage. For collectors who appreciate history, this alone adds significance. Now imagine going through your old coins, a jar sitting in the corner of your room, coins you've ignored for years. Among them could be a 1993 D quarter. To most people, it's nothing special. But to someone who knows what to look for, it could be the start of something exciting. Check the details. Look closely at the edges, the lettering, the shine. Is there anything unusual? Is the coin in exceptional condition? Does it have any visible errors? These small observations can make a big difference. Coin collecting is not just about money. It's about discovery. It's about the thrill of finding something rare where others see nothing. It's about holding history in your hand and realizing that even the smallest object can carry incredible value, and that's the beauty of coins like the 1993 D quarter. They remind us that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. So the next time you receive change, don't just spend it without looking. Take a moment. Examine it. Because you never know, that ordinary-looking coin might have a story, and possibly a value, far greater than you ever imagined.